Hello, and welcome to Women Speak, a production of the Women's Resource Center in Wayne. I'm your host, Mojdeh Keykhah, and each month I focus on a topic that is of interest to women and the people they care for. This interview is being conducted during the Coronavirus Crisis 2021 on MLTV Mainline Network. Today, Women Speak is happy to have WRC's very own helpline coordinator, Debbie Bell. Ms. Bell has actively volunteered with WRC since 2005 on the Information Referral Helpline as a legal host and as co-chair of the Girls Leadership Conference. She also has a long history of volunteerism as she served in the Peace Corps in Liberia, West Africa from 1977 to 79. Ms. Bell was hired as the WRC Helpline Coordinator in 2014. She is also a registered nurse since 1982. Debbie, I'm excited and honored that you are joining Women Speak today.
Thank you for having me, Mojdeh.
I wanted to chat with you today about the helpline because it's such an integral service of WRC and it's good for the community to know about. Can you tell me what is the helpline?
Well, the helpline is an information and referral line that women can call for a variety of issues. The helpline number is 701-314-4357, or women can email us at info@womensrc.org. Our hours of operation are Monday through Thursday, 9:30 to 6, and Friday, 9:30 to 3:30.
And the helpline is not a crisis line, is that right?
That's correct. It's not a crisis line.
And you've been involved with WRC for over 15 years now. How did you start with WRC? How did you get involved?
Yeah. Well, I started volunteering in 2005. I went to a Radnor Fall Festival one day, and the Women's Resource Center had a table there. And I spoke with the woman there at the table, and she was telling me all about the services and what they do. And I was looking to get involved in something at the time. And so I went to the center and applied, and I volunteered for a number of years every Tuesday morning on the helpline. And then in 2014, they hired me as the helpline coordinator, and I've been doing that job ever since.
And we're so glad to have you.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit more about how the helpline is tied into the history of WRC? I think WRC was founded in the 70s.
Yeah, WRC started in 1975, and the helpline was one of the founding services. Of course, back then, there was no internet or computers or any of that. And even when I came there in 2005, we didn't have computers. We had lots of thick phone books for each county, and we would look up information. And there were bulletin boards all over the office with phone numbers for each county for all of these services. And that's the way we would give out information. Of course, now we all have computers. We're so lucky to have the internet. We have, resources at our fingertips, but we actually still have binders with lots of great information in them that we have for each county. And I'm always looking for new information.
Quite a few people get in touch with the helpline each year. What is the count on that?
Well, last year in 2020, over 900 women contacted us for help. And in some recent years, over 1,000 women have contacted us.
And what is the demographic of these callers? Can you tell us more about their average age, or how are they reaching us?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think the average age is around 56 years old, and around 70% of the women that contact us have an income of under $25,000. However, we don't have any qualifiers for who can get help at the Women's Resource Center. So you can have a very high income or no income at all, and we're still happy to help you.
So a lot of the women that call are in midlife, and many of them are low income. But like you said, we serve all women in the five in the region. So,
That's right.
where are they calling from? Actually, what are the counties and
Yeah, we serve the southeastern Pennsylvania, and the largest number of calls come from Delaware and Chester County. And then I would say Montgomery, Philadelphia, and Bucks counties are the other counties that call us.
So we're located in downtown Wayne, which is in Delaware County.
Yes,
And maybe that's one reason why Delaware County is so heavily represented in the calls. But
probably, yeah.
yeah, but we do serve all five counties, and we get phone calls from all five counties and beyond.
And beyond. Sometimes we get calls from out of state as far as California. You know, people go on the internet these days and they don't really even know where they're calling. So we can get a call from California. And of course, we don't serve those areas, but we can still do an internet search and look something up for someone.
That's wonderful. Yeah, it doesn't. It's no harm to help someone even if they're out of state just by looking up a few resources for them.
Yes.
And what do they mainly contact us about?
Well, the main thing that women contact us about is for our family law services. We have something called legal consultation where women can call and speak with a family law attorney one-on-one for 30 minutes about divorce, custody, and support. We can also refer them to one of our affiliate attorneys, and they can have a longer consultation for up to an hour. Women call us about abuse, and they may want to speak to one of our family law attorneys in that case, or we can refer them to one of our domestic violence centers in one of the counties. They call us for referral to our resource coordination, which is our counseling and case management service, which is a very unique service because a woman can get counseling and get help with finding resources. They call us for basic needs like help with food, with housing, things like that. And we have information and resources for all of that, mostly based on what county they live in.
So a lot of the help depends on their county, which makes sense because that's county level resources that we're
Yeah,
directing them to.
yeah.
And what do they contact us about? Oh, we had also discussed some of the abuse they contact us about, but what about some of the parsing that, some of the perhaps financial abuse that occurs? Is that something else that we hear about?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. That's financial abuse is a big part of domestic violence. That is one of the big ways that their abusers use to control them by keeping control of the money. And so women feel very constrained. They want to leave the situation, but they can't access uh, bank accounts and things like that. So they don't know how are they going to leave. And so that is something that the domestic violence centers can help them with and help them to make a plan to get out of those situations.
And what happens after they contact us? What happens when a caller or emailer to the helpline makes that initial contact?
Mhm. So when someone contacts the center, we do an intake and we get their basic information. And then we listen very carefully to what it is they're asking for. And so many times a woman can call and ask for, say, help with food, perhaps. But if you listen a little further, if you ask a few more questions, you might find out that, there's something more behind that. Things like that don't happen in a vacuum. Um, Maybe she's just lost her job, or maybe there is a domestic violence situation behind that. And, if we can get to that um, deeper problem behind it, we can give her more help than she's even asking for. Some women just want the phone number for a food pantry, and that's fine. But if they want more help, we're there to help.
And how does the Women's Resource Center provide this service at no cost to the caller?
Mhm. Well, the Women's Resource Center gets their funding through grants, through donations, and through fundraisers. Our biggest fundraiser is our annual luncheon. And this year, our annual luncheon will be virtual. It will be held on April 30th, I believe. And if you want more information about that, you could go to our website, which is womensresourcecenter.net, and get more information about that.
Thank you for highlighting our funding sources. We are a nonprofit organization,
Yes,
and we're grateful to the community for supporting us over 45 years.
absolutely.
So, who answers the calls? Are they trained, and how are they trained?
So the helpline is answered and staffed by women volunteers. We have very dedicated and knowledgeable volunteers. Some of them have been with us for a very long time. I, as the helpline coordinator, am responsible for training them. Usually it's a one-on-one training. I'm also responsible for doing continuing education with the volunteers and staff. I'll bring in professionals from agencies that we refer to from different counties, and so that when we make these referrals, we know about the services. I'll also bring in professionals on different issues like immigration or abuse, things like that, so that we have a good understanding of the issues that women call us about. And so that's part of the job that I do with the volunteers.
That sounds like really in-depth and continuing education kind of training.
Yeah.
Is the training also something that other staff members get involved in from time to time?
Uh, yes, they could. Yeah, sometimes our um, counselor, Kai Qualls, who runs our resource coordination program, gets involved and helps us understand better and a little more deeply how to listen, the questions to ask, understand a little deeper the emotional consequences of some of the things that women are going through. So, absolutely.
I know you have a motto for the helpline. It's listening to lighten the load with resources to act, and what you just said seemed to have encapsulated that.
Yes.
How long do the volunteers stay on the helpline to volunteer at the Women's Resource Center at this service?
Mm-hmm. Well, it varies. Some of our volunteers have been there just, 2 to 5 years, others 10 to 15 years. But we have one volunteer who's been there for over 35 years. So it's really great that our volunteers stay, because that really helps a lot with the continuity of service, because when people call us, they can feel confident that the person on the other end knows what they're talking about, that they have the knowledge and experience to help them.
That knowledge and experience is incredibly, useful in delivering a compassionate ear to the caller, which is something you're very proud of that we provide. What makes the WRC helpline unique, do you think, among other helplines or hotlines?
Yeah. Uh, well, I think what makes us unique is that when someone calls the helpline, um, there's a human voice on the other end, someone who is going to listen, and be compassionate. Um, they're going to do their very best to try to help that person. They're going to take their time and listen. And I think that's something that's hard to find these days. And I think that that is something unique about us.
And when they call and have this compassionate ear, do they also follow up with the callers later? Is there any continuation, or is it just one call and that's it?
It depends. We can do follow up. We can get our some of our clients go on to do resource coordination. If they become part of that, they get case management with our counselor, and so they're followed along. But even on the helpline, sometimes we'll make calls for clients. We'll get information from them. We'll follow up with them. So, yes, sometimes it just depends on what the client needs. Sometimes it's just a one call and give them information. Other times we do a little research for someone and call them back.
Right. So it's really call to resource generation to resource delivery kind of model.
Yes.
And what has happened with COVID and the helpline? I know many volunteers, if not all of them, came into the office to answer the helpline at WRC. What happened when COVID hit and we were advising volunteers not to come into the office?
Mm-hmm. Well, when COVID hit in March of 2020, our executive director, Cheryl Brubaker, just went into action and got everything set up for us to be able to work virtually on the helpline. And so she got the helpline set up. We got our resources so that we could all share them and everyone be able to look at the same information. I know that the resource coordination counselors purchased a program so that they could continue to give confidential counseling to their clients. Our attorneys continued doing their calls and Zoom meetings with the clients. So our services just went on and we're continuing with them today.
So even when we weren't able to be in the office, we had a flexible solution that Cheryl Brubaker was able to implement pretty quickly, actually.
Yes, it was really something to see how we got right back on our feet when COVID hit.
And how can we encourage women in the community to reach out to us when they need help and to call the helpline or email us?
Yes. You know, if you're a woman and you need help, we are here to help. Please call the helpline at 701-314-4357 or email us at info@womensrc.org. We will call you back. We will email you back. Women should know that they're not alone and that we're here for them.
And that email is actually getting pretty crucial during this COVID time because many people are isolated or actually crowded in at home, and maybe their privacy is compromised because they are with other people, other members of their family. So the email does provide an option for women to contact the helpline.
Yes, that's right. Because sometimes, they don't have the opportunity to make a phone call because maybe their spouse or someone is there that they can't talk during the regular hours of operation. So if they want to email us, they absolutely can email and we will get back to them. And they can even let us know what's a good time to call them, or they can call us. But we will certainly get back to them and give them the information that they're looking for.
Thank you so much, Debbie, for your time today and your expertise and experience that you shared with us. This helpline service is 45 years old in the community, and it's so important to get the word out. Thank you for helping us do that.
Thank you for having me, Mojdeh.
And the WRC is so grateful to have you and all of your contributions you made over the years to our organization. To our viewers, thank you for watching Women Speak. I look forward to giving you more in-depth conversations in future episodes. For more information about WRC and its programs and services, please visit womensresourcecenter.net.